Well, with Black Friday approaching, time to get your holiday shopping in gear. My guest this week has a store with everything you need for the pop culture enthusiast on your list. That's next on Brio TV, the podcast. Hi, everybody. I'm going to do something a little different this week on Brio TV, the podcast. Instead of talking to a TV star or a writer or a producer, my guest celebrates all things pop culture every day at his store. The store is called Retrofestive, and with Christmas and especially Black Friday around the corner, it's basically the place to shop for anything with a TV, film, or music reference. Do you need a leg lamp like the one from A Christmas Story? How about stocking stuffers such as mugs with Charlie Brown, the Grinch, Snoopy, Beetlejuice, or the Beatles on them? They've got retro socks, ugly Christmas sweaters, even, get this, a Batman nutcracker. Riddle me that. It all began 17 years ago, and you can visit this store in Oakville, Ontario, or shop online today. To hear all about how he got into this business and everything else, please welcome my guest, Tyler Schwartz. It's always great talking with Tyler Schwartz. He is Santa Claus. He and his wife, Jordie, they run the best store in Oakville, Retrofestive. And thank you again, Tyler, because you've been very generous with prizes. We do a TV on film party events where we show classic TV episodes and films and do it at the Westdale in Hamilton. And you quite generously have provided some great prizes that are so suitable because you're dealing in pop culture at your store, and you have literally a shrine to every Christmas thing that people hold dear who are listening to this.
Well, they don't call me Ty the Christmas guy for nothing, Bill.
That is so true, because if you go there, if you need an ugly sweater, you can choose from hundreds. If you need anything from Elf or A Christmas Story or a leg lamp, it's just impressive. So lights, cards, I could go on and on.
Yeah, we've got all the Christmas movies covered, and then once you move past that, we've got everything else too. Everything pop culture.
Yeah, it's really cool and lots of fun. And Todd, I don't think I've ever asked you this. Where did all this start for you? When did you've run this business for several, I don't know, how many years now is that location?
I think we're into year 17 now. And
wow.
It honestly all started in my search for a leg lamp. I think it was around 2005 or 6 or something like that. And I wanted to have a full-size leg lamp from A Christmas Story. You've seen that movie, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we wanted to get one in my window here in Oakville, and there was no one selling them in Canada. I reached out to the guy in the States who was selling them, and he said, well, we don't ship to Canada because it's too expensive. But he said, if you want to start selling them there, we can work something out. And we did. And that was kind of the genesis of it all.
Well, it's every home should have one. This is, of course, what the old man on A Christmas Story wants in his house. It's a leg lamp, a leg with a net stocking. It is just the coolest. And
what do they say? Must be Italian, fragile.
Oh, instead of fragile, right? Yeah. You guys have that whole movie cornered, haven't you? You've actually gone beyond just having artifacts to sell. You've involved with a documentary and books and other things too, right?
Yeah, it's been a weird and wonderful journey. I was aware that A Christmas Story was filmed, actually a lot of it in Canada in 1983, near where I grew up in the Niagara region. The schoolroom scenes were filmed in St. Catharines, Ontario. And so around that time, back in 2006, something like that, I thought, let's find out where all these scenes were filmed. And so I grabbed back then it was a camcorder, and my wife Jordie and I, we tracked down all the filming locations in Toronto and St. Catharines and even in Cleveland. So that was the genesis of our fan film, Road Trip for Ralphie.
That's awesome. Where can people see that?
It's available online. There's a few services like Tubi, I think that's what it's called, and
Yep.
Roku.
Yep.
If you look up Road Trip for Ralphie or Christmas Story documentary, you can watch it there.
That's perfect. Yeah, I look at Tubi all the time. It's got a lot of great retro stuff, all the stuff from Shout Factory and things on there. So good tip on that. But that is a great movie. And to think that it's 40 years old now and directed by a Canadian, right?
Well, Bob Clark was actually originally from Miami, but he immigrated to Canada and filmed a bunch of his stuff here, starting with Porky's.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
actually, even before Porky's, I think he did some stuff. What was that other classic Christmas movie he made? Black Christmas.
Black Christmas. I saw that. Yes, I saw that at the theater when it came out, and it's haunted me ever since.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good classic, that's for sure.
Yeah. So again, you go back to the origins of all this. I know you were looking for a lamp, but tell us, when did it click that, this was an opportunity to set up a business that you could provide so much wonderful things for so many people?
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, it all happened kind of by accident. We started selling leg lamps first it was out of our apartment in Oakville. We got on the local news and people went kind of crazy for it. And then, a year or two after that, then we had a small warehouse and then a bigger warehouse. And eventually people kept saying, at first we were just selling these things online. Together with the moose mugs from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. And we even appeared on Dragon's Den in the early days. I think that was around 2011. And that was a lot of fun. But eventually we just kind of grew to having a store and a website that serves all of Canada for all the pop culture and Christmas needs.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a lot of fun.
And is that retrofestive.ca?
Yeah, retrofestive.ca. And, if you go there, it's a little bit almost overwhelming. We've got the retro toys and candy and records and books and, you name it. We've really kind of expanded. We started out in a niche market, and now I call it my curated collection. Like a lot of the things we sell, maybe you could find on Amazon, but you'd be lucky to find it if you'd have to stumble upon it. But what I do is I curate the greatest pop culture and retro things that you can find in today's market.
It's absolutely true. The different, you can pull down the menus and all the categories, and they go on, and they're packed with stuff. One category, what is it? It's a number. You have a special designation. It's almost like the cool place. Am I on the right track?
I need another hint.
I know. I gotta go. I need your schedule in front of me, but I was looking for things the other day, and I found Batman on sale, and it was $39.95. And what is he doing? He's dancing or something, or it's a Christmas nutcracker.
Oh, nutcracker!
Yeah,
and this is the thing, Bill. We've got so much stuff. It's hard to keep it all straight, to be honest. I think we've got 10,000 SKUs.
A Batman nutcracker is the ultimate crime fighter. I think there should be a whole movie made with that character.
Just hold on to your nuts.
the ultimate R-rated version. There's something about the bat pole we could work in there, but we'll just go on.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun. So obviously, A Christmas Story had a profound effect on you, but you must have grown up watching It's a Wonderful Life and things like other classics, Miracle on 34th, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'd have to say It's a Wonderful Life is another one of my favorites. I think like a lot of guys, I enjoy watching it on Christmas Eve after the family's gone to bed and having a little cry. It's almost like an annual tradition. So that's near and dear to my heart. And we, of course, have some It's a Wonderful Life memorabilia. We've got the bells that you might find on the tree.
Nice.
And storybook, things like that. So yeah, there's a thing about these classic Christmas movies. I think they really speak to people who may be yearning for simpler times, or the olden days when we're living in dire I think
Yes.
in
Yeah.
dire times.
Yeah.
And these movies help us kind of go back to when times were a little easier, simpler. And it gives you hope that maybe things might go that way again.
Well, there's a lot of these great old films. You see them on Turner Classic Movies now, but they were all made in 1946, 47, right after the war. So you had, I think, Christmas in Connecticut with Barbara Stanwyck, and
Yeah,
It's a
and
Wonderful Life, and
and then the other one I like, it's vaguely a Christmas movie. It's Meet Me in St. Louis.
right.
It's got some great, of course, that classic song and some great Christmas scenes. So
Yeah.
they don't make them like that anymore. They
But I
try,
think,
but
as you say, the world was coming out of this World War II, and the Allies were victorious, and people, it was time to celebrate with something happy and joyous. And I think there was such an embrace at that time of this idea of Christmas and everything moving forward. Certainly a feeling we need to re-spark these days. We'll be right back with Tyler the Christmas Guy in just a moment.
Have you seen Creepy Bits? No, not Timbits that have been left out in the sun too long. Creepy Bits, the all-Canadian made horror series. The 10-episode second season premieres in November on Hollywood Suite. What began as a do-it-yourself YouTube series of bite-sized shorts has evolved into a full-blown horror sensation. Some episodes take place in a cabin in the woods, another in a houseboat where strange noises can be heard coming from the murky depths. Each episode is helmed by a diverse range of innovative filmmakers, including series creator and executive producer David J. Fernandez. The second season premieres November 19th, exclusively on Hollywood Suite. Viewers can also binge all of the episodes on Hollywood Suite On Demand starting November 1st. This month, like every month, there's something for every member of the family on Paramount Plus Canada. The big news is the return of Yellowstone, back for a 5th season. This is the story of the Dutton family, who control the largest cattle ranch in the United States. And yes, Kevin Costner will be back, along with the rest of the ensemble. Fans of executive producer Taylor Sheridan can look forward to his latest series, Landman, which looks at the fortune-seeking world of Texas oil rigs. Billy Bob Thornton, Demi Moore, John Hamm, and Andy Garcia are among the stars. Then there's The Agency, which explores the world of international intrigue and espionage. Michael Fassbender and Richard Gere star. Finally, there's the music documentary Larger Than Life, Reign of the Boy Bands, featuring NSYNC, 98 Degrees, Backstreet Boys, Hanson, New Kids on the Block, and others. And remember, there's a mountain of entertainment every month on Paramount Plus.
Here he is again, Retrofestive's Tyler Schwartz. What is popular now in terms of the movies? And I'm sure they go in and out of style, or do you get a lot of people looking for Elf now? Or
yeah, I think you're right. Elf was the first one that came to my mind. Modern holiday classic, and it's hilarious. And we get people in our store who can kind of quote all the lines, and people come dressed up sometimes as Buddy the Elf. We sell the costumes and the ugly sweaters with the sayings on it, and again, we've got a Buddy the Elf Nutcracker and a Buddy the Elf plush and action figures and all that kind of stuff. So that's a popular one. And National Lampoons, I mean, I know that goes back to like 1990 or 89.
Yeah.
The Christmas Vacation, but it's great too. Home Alone, all those ones.
A lot of the ones we think of as the new ones are 30 or 40 years old now.
That's true.
It's
I'm trying to, but then you've got the opposite, kind of the flip of that, where the new Christmas movies that a certain segment of the population like are the Hallmark Christmas movies, or that style of romantic Christmas movie. We've kind of got a connection to that too, because so many of them film in and around Toronto and Hamilton.
Yeah.
We always get the set decorators in our stores looking for things, whether it's the Christmas sweaters or the snow globes, things like that, to decorate the movies. So we've always got our finger on the latest Hallmark movies, and there's a lot of them.
There's hundreds. And I've been on the set while they're shooting in Hamilton, up high on the escarpment, and several years ago now. And they always shoot these Christmas movies in June or July when it's 90 out, and the crew is sitting there. The gaffers are holding the poles with the mics on them, and they're in their bathing suits and T-shirts. And these poor stars of the show are in wool coats and sweaters, hats and gloves. And later on, they have to put in the breath. Yeah, they do have to do that as a computer effect, because it's actually they're sweating like they're dying, and they've rolled out cotton batting, or they've dumped dry ice, or they've had to dress everything to look like winter, right?
Yeah, it's really quite the phenomenon, and I think it's been a gift for the movie industry in this area.
Yeah, Hamilton in particular, it's often the site of a lot of these productions, as is Sudbury, or even up here in Orangeville, where I live. There was a production on the main street this summer. So it's great for the production industry in Canada, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I always say Christmas is one thing that doesn't go out of fashion. Mm-hmm. At least let's hope not anytime soon. It comes around every year, and I guess there's a reason they call it an evergreen, right? You can always kind of bank on Christmas.
Yeah, for sure. Also, your store has people are looking for Canadian items. I know that you've got like a Schitt's Creek jigsaw puzzle. You've got some stuff, probably some Letterkenny stuff, maybe too.
Yeah, it's few and far between, but we do have some Letterkenny stuff, and and even simple things like Canadian maple syrup and maple candies. Yeah. We get people coming actually from all over to visit our store, both online and in the actual store. And it's amazing how many tourists we get from out of the country who stop in and see. We've been following Retro Festive, and we're happy to be in Toronto, and this was our first stop. Wow. And I always say, really? Seriously? But they love it.
Most from New York State, or some further afield?
Oh, gosh. Certainly, yes, people come from, say Buffalo and things like that. Mm-hmm. But we've had people from lots of different provinces, Australia, Holland, people who just might be in the area visiting their family, but happened to have seen Retro Festive online at one point in time and said, "Hey, we want to do that when we go to Canada." So I always I'm a little flattered when tourists from that far afield make it a point to come visit us.
We should mention that the store, it's if you're down on the QEW, it's on one of the streets that
it's just off the North Service Road. It's called Invicta Drive. It's just off the North Service Road, near Trafalgar, not far from the Oakville Place Mall. So, pretty easy to find, pretty easy to get to.
Yeah.
And, our strongest time of the year is Christmas. Like, we're in the peak of it now, where the store's packed every day. But, we're open the rest of the year too. And we try to have we put a lot of the Christmas stuff away during the rest of the year and pull out all the 80s, 90s, 1970s, all that kind of pop culture-y stuff that you might enjoy year round.
What Tyler? What never goes out of fashion is Star Trek and the Beatles. Or are these just evergreens that people always want to?
Yeah, they are. Those are two excellent ones. Star Wars is a beast unto itself. And some years are better than others. Of course, when the Mandalorian came around, that was huge. These days, we're actually looking at having a bit of a sale on our Star Wars stuff. It's moving slower these days, but it actually we know it'll come around again when they come up with the next trilogy or whatever. So things are cyclical. We try to keep tabs on, the latest, greatest movies. And lucky for us, a lot of those movies are kind of rehashed of old movies. So the big one this year was Beetlejuice, and also
Right.
earlier this year, Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
And the Garfield movie was good for us. So, we've got all that. Well, we've got all that stuff, and people know that they can find that stuff at our place.
Yeah, it's all about rebranding classic brands, and that works perfectly for you. And talking about that, I mean, to me, those three classic Christmas specials from the 60s, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Charlie Brown Christmas, and the Grinch. Here we are. I mean, I saw those when I was a little kid and 60 years ago, and they're still the three specials that you have to see, aren't they?
Yeah, they really are, and again, we're so thankful that they haven't really lost their momentum. I know I've got three younger kids, and I make sure that they're up on their classic Christmas specials. I can't necessarily say the same thing for their classmates. Some people know them, some people don't. Luckily, the Grinch, has had a couple of the remakes, so everybody knows the Grinch. But for me, there's nothing quite like Rudolph and the Charlie Brown Christmas special. They hit hard and they hit close to home because like you, Bill, I grew up every Christmas, flipping through the TV guide looking for what night they're going to be on,
Right.
and you had to make sure you were sitting and watching it if you want to see it that year. So
Now you have to subscribe to Apple TV Plus, or it's harder to find them, but you still can.
Yeah, especially the Peanuts one. You're right. You have to have Apple. I think Rudolph is going to be shown this year on NBC, but most kids don't even know what NBC is these days. My kids are like, "What? Why are you watching TV, Dad? That's for old guys."
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is there a new special that is caught on? Is there something? Lately, there's always an episode of The Family Guy. I know has a second Christmas special coming out this year, but is there somebody else that's come along?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, they're always trying, aren't they? There's new things that come along every year, and it's funny with all the content that's being generated. I'm having a hard time thinking of something really that has caught fire. Yeah, I'd have to think. I can tell you which one I like, really enjoy personally. It was the one with Ryan Reynolds and
oh yeah,
what was that called? Scrooged?
No, I know what you mean. It's with the star of Elf and Reynolds, right?
Will Ferrell and
Ferrell.
Ryan Reynolds, and
it's one word, and I just can't pull it out of my head. But yeah, I've heard a couple people say they really like that film.
the music's great.
Yeah. No, I got to catch up with that. But the one,
and let me just put in a plug while we're on that note. Let me just put in a plug for it. A couple years ago, they did the sequel to A Christmas Story called. What's it called? A Christmas Story Christmas. And that's on, you can find that on Crave. And I thought was really well done. We really enjoyed it. And we always watch it now. We watch both the movies kind of in order. And it's because Peter Billingsley was involved and played Ralphie and had a strong hand in it. They wanted to make sure they got the tone right, and we think they came pretty close to succeeding. So that's a great one.
Yeah, he stars and produces, doesn't he? Of that.
Yeah, he did. As well as he produced or helped produce the musical, A Christmas Story, the musical, which we caught. My wife and I caught on Broadway when it on opening night back in 2012. 2012, I think it was. And it's a great show. They put a lot of heart into that show. They expanded on the storyline. Have you seen it, Bill, or not?
I have not. No, I have to catch up.
I think a lot of people think, "Oh God, how can that possibly be good?" But we really enjoyed it. The music was phenomenal. They do funny things like a leg lamp kick line with the old man, and dozens of leg lamps, doing the kick line, and
funny,
and it's got a lot of heart too. They really expanded the story of the mother in that show. And talk a lot about what it's like to be a mother at Christmas time. Especially in, the 1938 or 1940 when that was set, trying to provide the best Christmas you can for your kids. And it's really heart-warming.
Wow. I'll have to catch up with that. Do you have Red Ryder BB guns?
Yeah, we do. We do. We've got some stock left. We're actually trying to get those sold because I think they're trying to outlaw BB guns in Canada.
I bet they are.
So there's some kind of something going in motion. It hasn't passed yet. So I think the days of us selling Red Ryder BB guns may be limited. So if you want one, this is the time to get it.
Get to Retrofestive. Hurry up. Back in 2 minutes with more Retrofestive holiday gift guide tips.
Back for a second season this month on Super Channel is Finally Caught. You think the only cold cases in Canada contain 24 beers? This is a true crime show where murderers go cold, leaving unanswered questions, and killers are left to run free, assuming they've gotten away with murder. These cold cases demand justice for the people impacted. New evidence or stunning new testimony comes to light, allowing law enforcement officers to piece together what happened, with the killer being finally caught. It's an all-Canadian series from Blackwatch Entertainment. See Season 2 this November on Super Channel, available via most cable providers across the country, as well as streaming live and on demand with Amazon Prime Video channels and Apple TV+.
Do you ever wonder why your parents turned out the way they did? Come out to the Westdale Theatre in Hamilton on Saturday, November 23rd, starting at 1 p.m. I'll be there with my 16mm projector showing some classic cartoons, the ones many of us watched on TV every Saturday morning back in the 60s and 70s. Now, I'm talking the New Adventures of Pinocchio, Tales of the Wizard of Oz, and then there was Rocket Robin Hood and the Mighty Hercules. Look, you can see Diver Dan, a live-action kiddie series that was shot through a fish tank. Finally, don't miss a rare screening of one of the best animated hour-long shows of every boomer's youth. Gasp as your parents sing along with every word of the theme song. It's all part of the TV on Film party scheduled for Saturday, November 23rd at 1 p.m. And yes, there will be cool TV trivia prizes generously provided by our friends at Retrofestive. Go to thewestdale.ca for tickets and information. And we're back. Okay, now listen, from time to time, I know you have special guests coming into Retrofestive, and I understand you've got one coming up now.
Yeah, well, we like to keep it interesting, right? And we like to be timely. So we're having Taylor Swift appear at Retrofestive on November 23rd.
Wow, you have a big budget there. That's pretty impressive. Taylor Swift herself. Is Kelsey going to be there?
Not the Taylor Swift. It's a Taylor Swift impersonator. But, if you've got, girls or kids who weren't able to get tickets, they might enjoy meeting our Taylor Swift lookalike, who will be doing some mini shows at Retrofestive and doing meet and greets and selfies and all that kind of thing. And that's on the 23rd of November.
November 23rd. And here's a tip. After that, you know who you should go after, who's a lot cheaper, is Rip Taylor Swift. I think he's
is that actually a person?
No, I'm going to start.
I know Rip Taylor.
I might just rent a blonde wig and get some confetti and start.
That actually is a hilarious idea, and I think you should do that.
Okay. You and I will figure it out. All right.
Rip Taylor Swift.
Do you have a favorite ugly sweater?
Yeah. Well, you know what? We were selling these ugly sweaters. They're not branded necessarily or licensed, although we've got lots of those too. But we were bringing them in from the UK. It was a company over there called Cheesy Jumpers, and they were making what we think was the world's best Christmas sweaters. They're just super high quality, very colorful. And so we were the only people selling them in Canada. And we've still got some left, but the quantities are limited because this company, Cheesy Jumpers, went out of business during the pandemic, unfortunately. So we're just kind of selling through what we've got. But man, they were great. Just all the iconic Christmas things like gingerbread men and Christmas trees and all that kind of stuff. So.
Do you collect sort of antique toys as well? Things that you hold on to that aren't for sale?
I don't have a ton. People often call us thinking that maybe we're the type of store that buys and sells, actual vintage toys, and we don't. But I always pass them on to other companies. It's something that I'm interested in doing or could be interested in doing, but really I've got my hands full doing what we're already doing. So, maybe in the next life I would deal with vintage stuff.
It's hard. Now, I want to ask something I saw in a bio of yours I was reading, and this is something that I did as well. That you were involved with the Walt Disney, with the theme parks for a while, and you actually went down and attended classes at something that doesn't even exist anymore, Disney University.
The Disney Institute and Disney University, yeah. Boy, Billy, you did your homework.
Well, the reason I jumped on this, Tyler, is that I actually took a couple of those courses at the Disney University, one on animation, and they had kitchens set up. I even took a cooking course. I was writing about it, and it was so impressive. I just thought this is the greatest thing, but they didn't really keep that up. What were you studying when you took a course there?
Well, actually, the reason that I was able to take courses there was because I worked at Disney World for about 15 months you remember the Millennium Celebration, 1999, 2000? It was such a great thing. And I went down there to represent Canada, in Epcot. And I worked the Beaver Tails booth and the popcorn cart, and then worked my way up into Le Cellier to be a server there. And so that afforded us some opportunities to take these classes at the Disney Institute. And I think I took leadership and time management and things like that. And you're right, it was a great opportunity. Some really smart people leading the classes. Remember a guy called Jim Corcus? Did you have him? Anyway,
I don't remember. No.
Instructor.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's and I think about all these opportunities that I had that kind of formed, It all kind of got me going with retrofestive. Like I'm using everything I learned, at Disney, and I worked at Canada's Wonderland for a while too. And my degree is in theater production, and even though I'm not doing theater, I think running a small business is kind of close, and I'm always using the skills that I learned. So.
Well, you can learn a lot from Disney, that's for sure. An earlier podcast from this year, I talked to a friend of mine, Lorraine Santoli. She was the publicist for Disneyland years ago when I was living in LA, but she was later the head of Synergy at Disney, and she's written books on it, and it's fascinating, really. She was there during the Eisner years.
I'd love to find out what her book is because, that sounds very interesting. And I remember, when I was taking my classes, they talked a lot about synergy, and that's what Disney is so good at. And I was always a fan of Michael Eisner too. I think he did some great things for the company.
Yeah, he did for sure. Built a lot of amazing hotels and things on site. When I took that animation course there, they sort of walked you through it. They gave you the sheets, put it over the tables, and traced the different shots. And I made my cartoon was Mickey bombing SeaWorld.
Funny.
and of course, they never sent me the finished, we'll send you this in a week. But I don't think they wanted that out there.
I guess not.
So I should have maybe had picked another subject. This is awesome. It is a busy, busy time of year for you. And the store, is it open every day? What are your hours now?
Yeah, we're open every day till Christmas, 8:30 to 5. Soon we'll be, extending that to 6 o'clock when we get a bit closer to Christmas. But every single day, my wife is there working in the store, Jordie, and we've got a great team of people. We call them elves, of course, helping us in the store. So if you're in the Oakville area, I definitely would recommend you might drop by and visit. And if you're not in the Oakville area, come check us out online. Retrofestive.ca. Despite this Canada Post strike that they're talking about, we are shipping with a variety of different couriers, so that's not an issue.
Great. Okay. Well, it is anything you're looking for, you will find it at Retrofestive. And it's always a nostalgic time. I remember as a kid, the lights on the tree, they were the old fluted ones where there was water in a skinny tube that went up and down. It bubbled.
Bubble lights, yeah.
Yes,
we've got those too.
You've got those too. I mean, everything is there. It's a really cool place. Even as you're cashing out, you can find gum and Christmas, all kinds of snacky things, right?
Yeah, little little things to sneak home and not let the kids see.
Right, that's for sure. Well,
except my kids always find the wrappers in my car.
It must be great for your kids to be associated with you guys and having this colorful, fun pop culture.
Yeah, they really truly love it. They talk about following, taking over the business someday. We'll see. Part of me hopes that happens, but part of me thinks that maybe they should go, on their own journey in life. But for now, I can tell you what, I've got a 4-year-old, an 8-year-old, and an 11-year-old who are huge Christmas fans and huge fans of pop culture.
What a wonderful age. I know you have the colorful, Christmas villages at your store as well. Do you have some of those at home for the kids?
Yeah, we've got the Christmas Vacation Village, Christmas Story Village, all the buildings, and the one that we've got at home is the original Christmas Story with Ralphie's house and the Higbees, and it's a lot of fun having that little village so you can recreate scenes from the movie,
Well, that is so cool. I just remind people, too, if you're looking to go to the Westdale Theater in Hamilton, we've got a showing coming up in November and then one in December, usually on a Saturday. And we sort of throw a party. We show some cool old 16-millimeter prints of Christmas cartoons or different TV shows from the past. And we do some TV trivia, and you could win incredible fun stuff that Tyler is very gratefully donated for those events. So thank you again for.
You're welcome. I
really
love what you're doing down there. I enjoyed when I came to the show last Christmas season, and hope to get there again. Is it going to be Christmas things, Christmas cartoons and things in November, or are you saving that for December?
No, the November one, which is coming up the 23rd, is at 1 o'clock, and it's basically a Saturday morning cartoons. It's the experience we had growing up. So you can see old Hercules and Roger Ramjet and Bugs, it's different kinds of cartoons. I don't even want to say what they are because then Warner's and Disney will come after me. But
gotcha.
there's some nostalgic stuff there. And then on December, we've got Christmas classic. I'm going to show 4 or 5 really classic cartoons on 16-millimeter. And then they're going to show the Polar Express, the 40th anniversary or 20th anniversary of that film. Is
20 years already. Wow.
I know. It's crazy, right? So just like Ghostbusters is 40. You know.
Yeah. Seems like yesterday.
I know. So that'll be happening in December, and that'd be awesome if you could come out. Welcome you there, and thank you again. But thank you for your time today. I know you've got a busy store to run, and everybody go down to Retro Festive. You'll love it. It's got everything. You'll look in I love every little room is filled and packed with different kinds, different themes. It's just a fun place to go, and definitely make a stop and check it out. So thank you again.
Thanks for having me.
No, my pleasure.
You.
Yeah, all the best. Well, thanks again to Tyler and Jordie Schwartz, helping make Christmases merrier at Retro Festive. Thanks to producer Phil Hong for all his festive touches here at Brio TV. Give it up as well to BJ Del Conte, Paul Boudra, and all the Crispy Critters, as well as piano man Stephen Dudley for the music you hear on this podcast. Finally, thanks to you, listener. If you enjoyed this conversation, let us know with a like or a comment at Apple or Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm Bill Brio. Thanks for listening.